This is my buddy Steve Easlon to your right, and this is some ugly guy on the left. Steve's been a very accomplished, long-time builder in the live steam community. He's built a plethora of rolling stock, trolleys, diesels, and has worked on many live steam locomotives, and owns a live steam locomotive. He also ran and has done quite a bit of work on the Disneyland locomotives as well. It's also worth noting he has some beautiful sunsets over his Southern California home. This was the first picture I sketched up of a little outer frame yellow diesel. She's 3-inch scale. I wanted her 31 inches high, 22 inches wide, and about 4 feet long. The first thing that came to mind was Davenport Diesel. Steve agreed it would look really well with my mining setup and be a nice addition to my already 3-inch scale Cornut Porter locomotive. I knew I wanted an electric locomotive for the convenient factor. I was looking for an extra backup for my little Porter locomotive Butter Pig. Something that'd be easy, flip of the switch, and also the kids can operate. I've been a longtime fan of the little Bachmann Davenport diesels, so I told Steve, let's go off of this. Let's take a Davenport, pretty much copy it. Actually, Steve went out and bought a little On 30 Davenport to go off of. I was set on yellow. Here's some of the first shots of the body and frame. Her frame is all steel, and her body plates are all steel as well. Here's a shot underneath her. She has 2 motors and is chain driven. Steve went as far as to cast the weights himself at a local foundry. He made the pattern and sent them in. From there he machined them down, smoothed them out, and put them on the drivers. Here's some of the first shots of the front side of her. In a bit you'll see the steps that I took to make the front light a little bit bigger. I have a pretty big light on my Porter locomotive. In fact, I think my light's diameter is bigger than my boiler, and I like that. I think it really accentuates that 2-foot narrow gauge feel. You can see here the Bachmann Davenport has a pretty big light as well. Here's a couple shots Steve sent over of the backside cab during construction. Once the body was done, Steve took it down for powder coating. Here you can pretty much see the body complete. These were the first shots fresh out of powder coating that Steve sent to me, and I was over the moon. These were the first shots Steve took and sent to me of the body on the frame. Just a note, going into this project, I really wanted Steve to keep it really primitive. I wanted to add the extra light, some of the handrails and so forth, numbering, lettering. So I told Steve, just give me the run-of-the-mill, basic body, chassis, running, painted, and I'll go from there. Safe to say that Steve did all the hard work, and I had all the easy work. My simple job was to do all the cosmetic things, and that's what I'm doing here. I took the black grille that came with the locomotive and painted it gray. From there, I put on some black trim. Here's a shot of the black grille rim, almost complete. Next, I wanted to add some of the grappling irons, as well as the grille protector. I bent thin strips of box steel, and from there I formed it into the right shape, needed to fit over the front of the locomotive. During the construction, I welded the joints and put some small bolts in between the cross pieces. Here you can see the grille protector and grab bar in place. A few more touch-ups and the front should be done. Here we're going to move on to the coupler lift bars. These are purely cosmetic on Steve's Davenport. One could easily make these operable, and I've seen it done before. Here's the beginning stages of the coupler lift mounts. The coupler lift bar will be mounted through this U-bolt here. In return, this U-bolt will be connected to the bracket, which will be connected to the frame. We're going to let these coupler lift bars dry here and move on to the light. As seen here, the Davenport has a pretty big headlight, so I went ahead and made one to the best of my ability. I had my neighbor help me sand down and cut the light cradle. Here it is roughly in place. Here's the bed board with the cradle on it before I cut it down to size. Next step was to install the unit's brackets. I bent these into shape using a vise. I used a piece of 4-inch PVC pipe, cut it down to 5 inches long. From there I went down to tap plastic, had them cut out some caps as well as some rings. At this stage I need to have my neighbor drill and tap out some little screws to put in the plastic for the light housing. That way I have access in and out of it. We're going to let my neighbor work and come back to the light in the next episode. The coupler bars are dry. Here's a before and after shot of the installation. Thanks for tuning in to part 1 of the 3-inch scale Davenport Diesel. And always, keep dieseling.